to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
The blackest dies.
Puny God.
Come on!
Make this pencil.
You're terminated, fucker.
Live or die, man.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
There can be only one.
Kill you all.
Goonies never say die.
We all need each other. As you can see, I'm not happy.
Are you not entertained?
This is friend.
Happy trails, Hans.
Welcome back to the Skewered Universe podcast. My name is Jeff.
I'm Leiann.
She's back. Hey, I think it was the last couple of episodes I had guests on, so you weren't around.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we had 69, which was Death Drop Gorgeous with Patrick from Scream Queens, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then Terrifier 2 with Chuck.
Yeah.
So you weren't here for a couple of episodes.
Okay. To me, I never left, so it's so weird when you say you're back, and I'm like, oh, I didn't go anywhere, and then I forget you have people on.
Yeah, it's a regular episode this time. It's an interstitial episode.
Interstitial.
Do. I don't know. So, it's been a couple of weeks since we last had an episode. We just got busy with things.
Mostly me, but yeah.
Yeah. I was also on Invasion of the Podcast in that time. We talked about Twisted Metal, the series, on Peacock. That was a lot of fun talking with Paul about Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Always have a good time with Paul.
Yeah. Apparently it was a blast.
It was a blast.
He told me some of the options that were for your the thing you came up with.
Yeah, the game at the end where we picked my Twisted Metal themed car. Yeah. Listen to that episode and you'll find out exactly why the Cars for Kids commercial is
the bane of your existence.
Exactly.
I was also on Strange Highways.
I was just going to mention that you recently recorded an episode of Strange Highways that's going to be coming out.
I love them.
They're awesome. This is your second time being on Strange Highways, I believe.
I love them.
You're always so good on there.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you do like the Twilight Zone. And recently I believe you guys were talking about the very first episode of the original series?
It is listed as number 1, yes.
Okay. Yeah. And I know that's one of your favorite, if not your favorite episode.
Yeah.
So
I think I had 4 favorites. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it sounded like you had a lot of fun. I was
eavesdropping. As you do.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do the same when I'm on with others, so...
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just want to get dirt on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So is there anything exciting that you want to talk about that you've been doing since the last time we recorded an episode together?
Well, I mostly want to talk about you and what you've been doing. Because... Why, Jeff?
Well, recently I came to the realization that I am part animal. No, I'm kidding. I got the Diablo pack on Nintendo Switch, and I've been playing Diablo II Resurrected. And for someone who had never played these games before, tried playing Warcraft way back in the day and hated it, I've been having so much fun.
I'm so glad.
It's frustrating as hell. It's hard as hell. I get pissed off, but in like a good way because the game's that frustrating. I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out how to get past this.
Yeah. I love that you talk yourself through it. You're like, where am I supposed to go? I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I've already been here. And I'm just watching you in the background. reminiscing of the days when I was like that.
But I started taking your strategy where you're like, I'm just going to walk around and reveal the map before I do. That's what I started doing before I go into any of the big fights anywhere where I have to do stuff.
Yeah, anywhere I go, you have to follow the border first so that you know where everything is on your map.
Yeah. You want to be able to find the shrines. You want to find... try and take out as many enemies as you can. And...
The biggest thing is to find the next entrance to the next area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I typically just try to find everything, and then I'll know where. Then I'll eventually find the entrance to the next area.
Yes, yeah. I follow the border, and then I go, okay, wall, entryway. Okay, wall, and then I know once I'm done killing everyone in that area, then I move on.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to do that since you had this better strategy of me just walking around aimlessly, going, "What am I supposed to do? Why don't I have a map? Oh, you have to toggle the map. Okay."
And like assigning spells.
Oh,
you're like, how come nothing's showing up? How do I use this? How does this work? And I'm like, you have to assign it a button. And I think I mentioned it like 3 times. And after about 20 seconds, you get out and you show me the screen with the spells. And you're like, does yours only show A? Or is it just me? And I'm like, again, you have to assign the buttons.
Yeah, see, I'm not used to that. Typically, the games I play, everything is already assigned a button.
Yeah.
And there's always a map on screen, like GTA 5. There's a map in the corner, your buttons do a certain thing. You know, it's all laid out.
Yeah, this type of game is new for you.
Yeah, it's new. So there's a learning process. At 43, I'm learning how to play Diablo 2.
Yeah,
it's hard. From the mid-90s.
It's hard.
There is a fucking learning curve.
Yeah, the thing is, I've been learning it since I was 17. Because I've been playing Diablo 1 on the computer when I was a teenager. So it came out in 1997, and then it was actually released for PlayStation in 1998.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And that was pretty cool. I remember that. Diablo 2 was released in 2000. And then it wasn't until 2012 that they released Diablo 3. So all of the Diablo fans were waiting 12 very long, angry years.
Wow.
For that game. And then Diablo 4 just recently released.
Yeah, so Diablo 3's had, 10 years? 11 years of life out there? Because they were still releasing expansion packs for it.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, I of course had to get the expansion pack.
And the one I got has all the expansions with it.
And because you're a new Diablo fan, I was looking up a little bit of trivia and found something that I figured you might appreciate.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure how much I can play, so I'm not going to play that much.
My name is Deckard Cain, and I've come on out to greet you. So sit your ass and listen, or I'm gonna have to beat you. If I don't know the answer, then go ask Mala. She's a funky little broad that looks like a koala.
Oh my god.
It's the Deckard Cain rap.
That is awesome. I'm gonna have to look that up later. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game is so much fun. It's just really frustrating. So I can imagine how many people back in the day, including yourself, were playing this game, getting to one area and just getting stuck, like I did, and then having to go back and retrieve your stuff from 6, 7, 8 corpses that are just laying there with all your gold and items that you've worked so hard to fucking get.
Yeah, but you know what? When I started playing it again recently, I had died in this one area twice, so I had 2 corpses waiting for me. I quit that character. I said, fuck it. I'm going to try Sorceress. But you stuck to it. You're like, no, I'm going to get it. I need to get my stuff. And you did.
I was playing a lot to get that stuff. Then I'm like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. I'm not losing that axe that I socketed with that chipped topaz. I'm not losing it.
Where were you in the outer cloister?
Outer cloister, yeah.
Yeah. It's a rough spot.
Yeah, but I kept going back, and little by little, I kept taking out enemies until there were no more.
Yeah.
And then I had 5 or 6 corpses there that I had to loot of my own stuff to get it back.
Yep.
So yeah, if you guys haven't played it, I highly recommend getting... If you have a Switch, get the bundle. Because it's like $20 for Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 Resurrected.
Mm-hmm.
Each of those games by themselves is like $60 right now. So if you have a Switch, go on. I think the sale is still going on. Because that's how I got it. And I also had some points, so it knocked like $3 off. So it was like $16. So, it's cheap, it's worth it, it's something different. And if you played Diablo 2 back in the day, relive your childhood.
I have to admit, it is heartwarming to be married at 43 to a guy who's never played that type of game before, fall in love with the game like I did when I was 17. It's really cool.
I'm glad you kind of pushed me to get it. Because I was debating. I was like, oh, should I? I don't know. And you're like, you probably should if you want to try it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. So between that game and AEW Fight Forever, I've been playing the Switch quite a bit.
I've been playing Diablo 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of my comfort game.
It really is. You just get in there and play. You zone out. You play, you
Yeah.
get through the game in like a couple of hours.
I don't even think about it.
No, it's all muscle memory at this point.
Yeah.
You're like looking out the window, just playing the game by sound, like, la 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 la, kill you, 3 hits, you're dead, go here. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, playing Diablo 3, and you're just looking off into space elsewhere. Like, I don't know how you do it.
You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were playing, I didn't mean to interrupt you, and I'm like, no, it's fine, I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna die if I just stand here.
Like, I just have to walk through the game. Everything that I've accrued does the work for me.
Yeah.
And if I do have to do anything, it's like one hit and they die.
It's all about thorns. Life stealing.
You do like thorns.
Yeah. So, we are going to be watching a movie tonight.
Yes, you picked the movie, so this is kind of a Leiann-centric episode here.
Well, I mean, I just picked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I haven't told you what it is yet, because I wanted to surprise you.
Yeah.
It's called King of Clones.
Science often gallops way ahead of the ethics. Good intentions is never an excuse for bad behavior. Look what happened to Dr. Wang. The fact that he was trying to do something for the good of everybody does not excuse such profound misbehavior. He's sitting on top of the world. He's done something no other human being has done. And then he takes the complete fall and collapse. I mean, it is a story for the ages in some ways.
Really?
And I haven't quite figured out, the vibe of it. But, oh, no. Oh.
Yeah, you gotta go back. You can't go into it, because then it'll start.
Yeah, thank you for letting me know.
It's okay, we're gonna leave that in.
So yeah, it says, after rocking the world with his work in human cloning, a scientist fell from grace. Now he's back, this time with pets and extinct species. And it's labeled as controversial, investigative, and documentary.
Oh. Okay, I'm interested. Documentary style thing. We've never done that on here before.
No.
That'll be interesting.
No, wait. No. Did we cover the octopus one? Briefly.
We briefly talked about it, but we didn't cover the entire movie.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is new.
Yeah. This is I'm definitely interested.
Okay.
King of Clones.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the King of Queens.
Chirp, chirp. Chirp, chirp.
Yeah, I'm just gonna... Yeah, for those of you listening, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that.
No, he pretends like he's sorry, but then he just does it over and over and over again.
Eventually they hit. Eventually they hit.
True.
So, do we want to get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. So you guys know the deal. Interstellar Interstitial, so we'll talk to you guys in just a bit.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Alright, so we are 15 minutes into King of Clones.
I didn't realize it would be so camel heavy.
I didn't either, and it seems... Okay. So, our Korean scientist, Wong Woo-suk, has a laboratory in the Middle East. Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, to be exact. After something happened in Korea, he was a national embarrassment.
They haven't told us yet.
They haven't told us what's going on. So he's in the Middle East desert in a lab that is funded by the United Arab Emirates. Those who run the country are funding this laboratory, and they have him cloning camels.
And dogs, too. He's
and dogs
cloning
as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of focus is on camels.
A lot of focus. Too much focus, really. I could have done without the insemination.
Yeah, they showed us a lot of camel stuff going on. So, and...
I picked this randomly. I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm hoping we get past the camel stuff, because I know there are people out there who would watch this who are very narrow-minded and go, well, you see, all them Middle Easterners, they love their camels, see? It's like, they race camels. There's a reason why camels are so heavily bred, but now they're cloning them, I guess, to have a more genetically perfect camel. I don't really know. I'm hoping this is just a bit of the story and that it's not just a camel cloning documentary. But we'll see what happens. So far, it's interesting.
They can't all be winners.
Hey.
Well, okay, you know what? I blame Netflix, because there was one movie where I was like, you know what? I think we would really like that. But it said it was at 70-something% match. And this one was like an 86% match. And I'm like, oh, well, Netflix obviously knows what they're talking about, right?
Netflix is also one of those services that tends to lump one movie, like, say, Grandma's Boy would be under comedy, and then it might also be under action-adventure for some reason, and I'm like,
yeah, they
no.
have they're all screwed up. I don't know why I listened to them this time, but I took a chance. I
have a feeling it's going to get different. I think we're just establishing, like, hey, this is where he's at now, this is what's happening.
I want to hear the juice. What happened?
Yeah.
Because he had some kind of inappropriate relationship, and I want to know about it.
Yeah, because they were like, he was supposedly doing all this good for people, and then a few missteps and unethical behavior. I'm like, what exactly was it? Tell me.
Yeah.
We're going to have to wait.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be one of those things where they're like, we're really not going to touch on it, but here's what he's doing now. It's like, no, don't make me do the research.
No.
You made this documentary, so hopefully they don't blue balls us.
They keep putting in clips of Frankenstein and like comic book clips.
The comic book stuff was depicting a scenario the one guy was talking about.
I know, I'm just
It's
saying
weird.
it's a thing that I noticed.
Yeah, I get the obvious insertion of the Frankenstein clips.
I think it's kind of silly.
It's silly, but at the same point, if somebody's not understanding that there's a stigma to cloning where everyone thinks people involved in cloning are just playing God. What was Dr. Frankenstein doing? What was he accused of doing? Playing God. Creating life out of nothing. What could cloning essentially be called? Creating life out of nothing, in a sense. So there's parallels there. So I get what they were doing, but it did come off as kind of cheesy.
It doesn't seem serious, I guess.
Yeah. I guess you're trying to cut tension, but at the same time, it's... I don't know. It was like, really? You're choosing clips from the old Frankenstein? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you paid a lot of money to Universal. Because that movie's not in the public domain, as far as I know.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Well, if they're dealing with $20 million camels... Who knows?
Yeah, I have no idea. So I say we just jump back in and see where we go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get some more camel cloning action.
And now, on with the show.
Another 15 minutes in, and things are getting a little more interesting.
Are
I would
they?
say. Well, I'll say interesting in the fact that it's painting people with a certain type of brush, and I kind of... Okay, let's just say, we got to a point where there was I believe he's a German gentleman, speaking about his dog Chillo, that he wants to clone because Chillo died, and he wants Chillo back. And he says, well, most people think that cloning is only for the rich. Yeah, it is. It really is. I can't afford to clone whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you have stupid, I can throw money away on cloning my dog that might not even work money. Anyway. We see why this Korean scientist was brought to the UAE to clone camels, because he had cloned dogs successfully.
And cows.
And cows with no issues. Yeah. It was big news, because it had not been done.
Yeah.
The US was trying to get there, South Korea beat him to it. He was trying to clone a Korean tiger. It didn't work. So they abandoned that experiment. But this documentary is kind of going all over the place, in a sense. Do you feel that way?
I feel like it's going just talking about cloning and, the complications medically and also ethically and whatever, and all this stuff, and what is death, and it is... It's just... I want to know what he did.
Yeah, you baited us in with this... He did something unethical.
Well,
and that's why he was exiled from Korea or whatever.
Yeah, what was
it's like, okay, well, what did he do? And they're like, hey, here's this German guy who wants to clone his dog. He's got stupid money. And honestly, okay, so I don't know how many people out there that listen have actually watched The State. The comedy show you introduced me to years after it had already been done. Because I had no idea.
Yeah.
This guy talking reminds me of, there's that sketch that Tom Lennon does where he's the German fashion icon and he's making the underpants. This guy sounds like that. He's like, yes, I wanted to do the underpants. I'm like, this guy sounds like someone doing a German accent impression. It's like, I wanted to clone my dog Chillo because I wanted Chillo back. So then I got Chillo back, and he's a very happy dog, 1.5 years old. I have stupid German throwaway on cloning money. You Americans will never understand this type of money. Yeah. I can clone anything I want. I will clone my penis next and have 2 of them. It's like, a part of me was like, okay, I get it's tough losing a family pet because they're a member of the family. At the same time, I'm like, that member of the family also served their purpose for a time. Cloning them just seems like a really selfish, I can't let go, so I need to clone my dog because mentally I can't get through life without this dog.
Well, what about on Futurama when Fry thinks about cloning his
But
dog.
what did he do? He said
he
no.
made the wrong decision.
He made the right decision.
The dog waited its whole life to be with him again.
Right.
And the professor even said he'll still have his memories and stuff.
Yes. The difference here is these dogs, these animals, these dogs, these cows, the camels they're cloning don't have the memories of the previous animal.
Oh, you mean life isn't like a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think Fry made the right decision because he's like, well, wait a minute. Seymour did live a full life without me. He did. He hung out in front of the thing and was sad all the time, but he got to eat free pizza all the time at Panucci's.
It's not a full life being heartbroken.
It's true, but some can say Fry never really got to live his life either because he was frozen for over 100 years.
Yeah, but he woke up.
Yeah, but is he really living?
Yeah, he's living his best life. What are you
think
talking
so.
about?
Anyway, we've gone off track.
He winds up helping raise a narwhal back to life. Or make it ready to go back out in the ocean again.
Oh man.
I don't like this documentary. Can we cancel it? Cancel it.
We're 30 minutes in. We've only got another hour.
Yeah.
Roughly, so it should go quick.
Hey Siri, do you have any jokes about cloning?
Here's what I found.
Oh. She's a riot.
Yeah. A laugh riot. Siri coming Thursdays this fall to Fox.
Here's what I found. Oh well.
I'm sorry, I can't do that. Sassy Siri. Siri can get fucking sassy sometimes. Anyway.
Yeah, she can.
Let's continue this journey down.
Hopefully in this next 15-minute span we'll learn a little bit more.
Maybe we'll get something about the fucking controversy that had him kicked out of Korea. I don't know, but hopefully.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to get back to it. You guys listen to this intermission and grab some popcorn and try not to clone anything.
It's intermission, it's intermission. It's intermission, it's intermission.
Ice cream, candy, lemonade too. And there's a hot dog waiting for you.
The popcorn's popping and it's ready to go. You know all the great food is stealing the show.
Get up out your seat and get yourself a tasty treat down at the snack bar. Snack bar.
Pardon me, boy.
Yeah, baby.
Will you take me to the snack bar?
You know what I like. Everything's ready when the first meal's over. Nothing like a pizza with a ice cold cola. Get up out your seat and get yourself a tasty treat down at the snack bar. Snack bar.
It's intermission, it's intermission. It's intermission, it's intermission. It's intermission, it's intermission. It's intermission, it's intermission.
Get up out your seat and get yourself a tasty treat down at the snack bar. Snack bar.
It's intermission.
Just like that, we've cloned another 15 minutes off of... That doesn't make any sense. We've done 15 more minutes of this documentary.
It's getting more interesting.
Yeah, we're finally getting an idea into what he did.
Well, first, I would like to say now I understand why they were doing the comic book storytelling and the movie clips, because it's so scientific and technical and it's what? So they're trying to kind of dumb it down for us.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we found out because apparently he cloned a whole bunch of type of animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dogs, cats, whatever, pigs,
coyotes, wolves.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, can we clone humans?" And found out they could, and they're like, "Can we clone women's eggs?" Dun dun dun.
Yeah, they needed eggs in order to start the process of being able to try and clone humans. And apparently he claimed to have obtained, through volunteers, 242 female eggs.
Yeah, and so the guy, I don't even know who the guy was who was calling people and wrote the article.
Yeah, he's a reporter for a different...
Yeah.
He's a science journalist.
Yeah, so he wanted his questions answered. Kind of important questions.
Right.
And the dude's being dodgy. He's clearly uncomfortable. There's flaws in what he's saying. And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to call his cohorts and the people he's working with to see if they can explain what the process is. Where are these eggs coming from, etc.
Right.
And most of them were like, I don't want to talk to you. The end. But this one was like, well, I can't tell you about the process in general, but I can tell you about my process. And he was like, wait, did you donate your eggs? And she's like, yep. Yeah. And it turns out he asked the people he was working with, the women that he worked with, you know, hey, can you please sign this form and donate your eggs? And so a lot of people are saying, well, it's, you know, it would be an honor to do that. Most people you wouldn't even have to ask. It, you know, would be such an honor. And now people are saying, well, it could be seen as coercion because he was so powerful.
Right. And
that they didn't really know what they were signing up for, because when you are dealing with donating your eggs, you're going through a physical process, and a lot of people don't realize what that process entails. And so they're thinking maybe these women didn't know what they were getting into. And then there's also the line of people who support embryo experiments, and then there are the people that are like, embryos are babies, and of course that fight will never end as long as humans are alive. So I mean, and that goes with abortion too. You know, I'm not even going to state my own opinions because it's too opinionated to say.
Yeah, I get it. I think also part of the, touching back real quick when you mentioned the coercion, I think part of it is because when this journalist was talking to the female researcher who donated her eggs, she goes, well, just think, spinal injuries, all these diseases, all these things people live with will be wiped out with this research. So yes, I'd be honored to donate my eggs. So you kind of feel with him going, the doctor going, we need a bunch of eggs so we can get started. Well, where are we going to get them? Can you guys sign this paperwork so you can donate? And I promise you, it's going to be revolutionary. You're going to be on the forefront of this change that's going to be good for mankind. I think he sold them something that he wasn't quite capable of giving. So in the end, he got them to donate their eggs under false pretenses, is what I'm thinking. Because as it stands today, we're no further with embryonic stem cell research than they were. Because of that fight, because of that stance of, well, if we do this, you with a bad liver, you born with a bad heart, you can get a replacement. And then the other side going, an embryo is a human, it should not be destroyed for cells. But then I also think, would those people be hypocrites if they were told, you have a life-threatening disease right now. You were born with it, you will live a short life. I know your stances don't do it, but the one part of your body that needs to be replaced, we can grow it in a matter of weeks, and you will be like new. Would they change their mind if it got to that point? That's always been the thing in my head. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. I think talking about this, you can kind of see where I might lean, but we don't want to make this a political thing.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of reminds me of the movie Drive Me Crazy.
Okay.
Where they I think they were having some kind of protesty thing about animal experiments. And the main guy character, his mom died from, I think, like, cancer or something that could have been helped with that research. And so he was offended and walked off, and it was a whole scene.
Okay. I think I saw that movie once and I don't really remember that, so...
Yeah, it's with Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah, I saw it once and I didn't remember that part, so I appreciate you bringing that up.
To.
I think, too, I remember they played a clip of former President Bush wanting to pass legislation to not allow embryonic stem cell research because it could lead to... And I always thought this was funny, and I thought, you guys are grasping at straws. Human-animal hybrids. Patented and trademarked embryos. I'm like, this is why you just need to put regulations in place to keep people from doing things like that, but allow the research. But that's kind of tipping my hand as to how I feel. But I thought that argument when he goes, human-animal hybrids, I'm like, we're not living in Batman Beyond. Okay, we're not going to have a bunch of splicers running around that are half hyena, half human. It's... Honestly, I don't think the DNAs would take, and whatever you try to create would probably just fucking die. Anyway, this is getting more interesting. It's still a little like, oh, this is science heavy. I'm not smart enough to understand.
Yeah, but it's getting pretty serious, too. I wasn't expecting it to be so serious.
And I didn't realize it was tied into the whole embryonic stem cell thing. I figured it cloning... Dolly the sheep. I didn't realize it had ties into that whole controversy. So now I'm like, okay, now I see where this all started. Now I see the genesis of this whole argument.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we should get back to it.
Yeah.
See if we get any more juicy tidbits.
Yeah, see, and, well, okay, because the gist I got was that he cloned a human, or he cloned a human-animal hybrid and made sweet love to it. And they had maybe a secret wedding. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I'm down for that. Whatever movie that is, I want that. No. He just possibly used his position of power to unethically obtain what he needed. Unless there's more. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. So far, it's on this. It's kind of like, well, was it unethical? Wasn't it? So
that's the debate.
Hoping to get the answer. All right, we're gonna chug on, and you guys just sit back and relax. We'll be back in a minute.
Way down in old Virginia, 300 years ago, Captain John Smith and Pocahontas trapped their meat and aged it slow. They smoked it and they spiced it too for flavor at its best. Genuine Smithville barbecue surpasses all the rest.
Most great American traditions get better with the tellin', but James River's Smithfield barbecue gets better with the eatin'. At Smithfield, we still use the same famous recipe of herbs and spices. Our barbecue is still slow simmered in our secret sauce to perfection. And just like always, James River Smithfield barbecue is good enough to be a great snack, hearty enough to fill a pioneer's appetite. You'll understand why John Smith stayed in Old Virginia. One of the best things about this tradition is we make it quick and easy for you. Be sure to visit our concession stand now for James River's Smithfield barbecue.
So another 15 minutes in.
We're back.
It's getting more intense as to what's happening.
Yeah, so people were really divided about it.
Yeah, and Korea was divided because essentially it started to come out that the eggs they got for these cloning experiments were illegally traded. They obtained them illegally.
Yeah, they sought out patients. They scouted hospitals. I think they said they found a fertility center.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was making big claims. Big claims. Telling everybody, you're going to walk again and you're going to be able to do this again. And it's like, dude, they even made stamps of a wheelchair guy getting up and standing. And it's like, bro, those are some big claims.
Yeah, even Christopher Reeve, who we all know was the greatest Superman ever, JB, you can kiss my fucking ass. Talking about Dean Cain, you son of a bitch. Christopher Reeve was even there after his accident, talking about the research being done could lead to things great for disabled people with diseases. But he was promising stuff way too early, because people in wheelchairs were like, I'm going to get out of my wheelchair one day because the doctor said so. Then there's the other side who were like, you violated women's rights. You did this illegally.
recruited women trading eggs. Like, apparently there's a whole trade, and it's like, wow.
And one of the guys who's been in this documentary, he said, I felt this was the time, because there were people on the doctor's side going, well, if there was a problem with getting the eggs, we'll just donate ours. Not realizing, these women weren't realizing just how rigorous and strenuous of a process they were going to go through. Because to get that many eggs, they have to hyperstimulate the body in order to produce more eggs.
What? Yeah, that one guy likened the experiments to Nazi Germany.
Yeah, and I was like, that's actually not far off, because you're doing illegal things to experiment with human beings. It's really like crossing a line.
Yeah, but then you have the people doing candlelight vigils and singing songs for him. I mean, the crowds were insane.
It's nuts, because you think about it, it's like, okay, well, and this is my own take of it. You're supporting someone who has made claims that have no base in anything just because he's cloned a few animals successfully. So he's hyping up what he can do without any proof yet. Without like, hey, we've laid out the research. We did have some eggs donated to start the process, and here's what's happened so far. Now, in order to see it through, we would need more eggs donated, if women are willing to do that. If not, we understand, because whatever. He didn't do any of that.
Scouting, recruiting, I don't know. He was being weird about it.
Yeah. Like, you could have put out a call, and if women wanted to donate, I mean, the side that is supporting him, and I also kind of look at it as, and this is not me getting political, but it's like kind of the climate today where you have the Trump supporters who will blindly support him no matter what. And then the other side that's like, but can't you see there are things wrong with what's happening? And they're like, nope, don't see it. We'll support him. That's kind of the same thing here. One side's going, do you see this doctor hasn't given us really any proof he can do it, and he's illegally obtaining these eggs and possibly putting women in danger doing this? And they're like, it can cure my son in a wheelchair, it can cure my aunt with heart disease, so I'm all for it. I don't care what he has to do. It's like, there comes a point where you have to stop blindly following and kind of look at the facts as they're laid out. The side supporting him went so far as to create an organization for the donation of eggs for his cloning experiments. I don't understand.
It's crazy.
It's insane. If this went from boring camel documentary to like, what in the fuck is happening? So you almost had us turn this off and just not do this show.
And you are riled the fuck up.
And you hooked us right back in. You're like, oh, here we go. And yes, this isn't a hot take, but Christopher Reeve was the best Superman. Fight me. Anyone can step up and fight me. I may be dealing with 2 water legs, but fight me. I will die on this hill. Christopher Reeve is the best Superman. Anyway, that's a little inside joke for you, Leiann. We've got about 27 minutes almost left, so do we want to split it, or do we want to just bang this out?
Why do you have to word it like that?
I don't know. I said it and immediately went, oh, God. Do we want to just watch the last 27 minutes, or do we want to split it?
No, I want to bang it out.
Okay. So we're going to bang it out, and then we'll watch the rest of this documentary. I'm kidding. We're going to finish up the documentary. We'll come back, and you guys know how this goes. But enjoy this intermission.
It's intermission time. Time to pause and refresh at the snack bar. During this short break, you can treat your taste of good food and sparkling cold beverages, including delicious Coca-Cola. If you're hot dog hungry, we have them. Sizzling, juicy hot dogs served in warm, oven-fresh buns. Plus a complete menu of all your favorites. Visit the Refreshment Center now. Enjoy delicious food and ice-cold Coca-Cola.
And we're done.
Finally.
We finished King of Clones.
It was intense.
Yeah, wow, the downfall of this doctor and everything that happened. I think you've got some notes, so let's hit those.
Yeah, so one of the women that donated, she said that she didn't do it for him, she did it for mankind. You know?
Right.
So that's how she views it. Which I think is kind of funny because pro-lifers are also, like, about mankind, so it's kind of funny.
Yeah, how both sides have this stance, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it turned out, was it an ex-scientist had seen that he was fabricating the images?
Yeah, someone who was a former scientist and is now a potato farmer.
Yeah.
But still likes science.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently he manipulated the images of cells. And, he had a huge press conference saying, yeah, it was fabricated. And people were really, really upset. Like, his staff was just sobbing.
Yeah, it affected a lot of people.
And it showed, you know, that he was making promises to children. And, you know, the children are asking, like, does this mean I'm not going to be okay? Does this mean I'm not going to walk again? And so, in this mission to better mankind, he destroyed mankind in that little kid. You know what I mean? So it's like, where's the balance?
Yeah, one thing we didn't touch on was this pastor whose son was in a car accident and was paralyzed from the waist down. One of the, I believe it was a nurse or someone that was helping care for his son do like rehab and stuff when they were taking care of him in the hospital, said, hey, this doctor's doing these experiments and he's looking for volunteers that he can do this research on in hopes of rebuilding dead tissue and nerve endings, helping people to walk again. So this pastor was like, okay, we'll put our son into this program to see. And nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
And
he died.
Yeah, ended up dying. And it's just sad because the kid was like, oh, does this mean I'm not going to walk again? When the downfall of Dr. Wong came. And his dad, the pastor, just told him, well, you have to believe in God. Don't necessarily believe in people.
Yep.
God will help you achieve that one day. And then his son died. It's like...
Which is funny because the doctor is like, how do we know this is God's realm? Which when I hear that is, who's God? Who dat? And it's like...
It's, okay, I don't necessarily believe in any sort of God. I'll put that out there. You know, everyone is allowed to believe what they want. That's my feeling. As long as you don't push those beliefs on others. What I feel he's doing is somebody goes, well, I think what you're doing is defying God's will. He goes, this to me is basically going, I will spit in the face of what you believe is God because I am man, I am science, and I have proven what I can do. It's kind of the attitude I get. It's like, you're going to piss off a lot of people that way. So that's where he was like, who's God?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm the guy doing this. There's no God. I created life. I cloned dogs and cats and wolves and camels.
He didn't really have that attitude, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, he didn't have that attitude, but that statement carries a lot with it where it's like, wow, people are going to read that the wrong way.
Yeah. Well,
I think that's more of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, he did have that yet another huge press conference apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
He says he takes responsibility. He has learned. He understands that it was no one else but him. He says he was not forced.
It was his own greed.
Yeah, but that he also stands by his previous work. And so, yeah.
Yeah, stands by the work he did and also said that if he had the choice to go back, he would choose the exact same path in his life and do it all again. I'm like, that's not necessarily what you're supposed to say.
Right.
Because you're like, I don't have any regrets. It's like, but you toyed with the emotions and hopes of so many people by promising them things in your greed to embezzle money and fabricate numbers. I mean, one of his scientists who worked with him brought him numbers and watched Dr. Wong manipulate those numbers right in front of him to what he wanted them to be and said, now go write up the paper according to what I just did.
Yep.
It's like, you don't get to just do that and then go, I'd do it all over again.
Well, now he's trying to clone a mammoth.
Yeah, which
He's willing to die in that cave.
I heard about the mammoth thing, and I'm like, I don't think that's... A part of me is like, that's not an animal that would survive nowadays. There's a reason it went extinct. There was a change in the world, and it wasn't meant to survive that.
Well, it's also paleontology, so that would be new, you know?
Yeah. Also, I've heard that in some of these things where they found, like, the frozen mammoth stuff where they can get tissue, oh, hey, scientists have found frozen viruses and frozen bacteria and are looking into that. It's like, guys, really? We just got out of a fucking pandemic. I mean, technically, we are still in it. I'm not... COVID-19 ravaged a lot of places, yet we're like, hey, we're scientists. We're going to play with some other bacteria that's ancient that was around when woolly mammoths were alive. It's like, maybe don't. Maybe don't.
Yeah.
We don't need another fucking global threat unleashed that wipes out half the population. I'm not trying to live the zombie apocalypse. Keep it in my fucking movies. I get you want to do research. That's fine. Don't try cloning this shit or thawing it out and saying, hey, we've replicated it. And yeah, if this thing gets out, it could kill everybody. Because then what's going to happen? Somebody's going to drop the fucking petri dish. God. Scientists are just people too. They're not above tripping and falling.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing him in that cave with the woolly mammoth bone was like, it was beautiful. The ice crystals in there, it was really pretty. You're not going to catch me in a fucking cave that's man-made that could collapse at any second. And was collapsing when they said, yeah, we got to leave.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to touch on? Because I got one more thing, but I want to know if you have any other notes there.
My favorite line of the whole documentary.
Okay.
Here lays your first body.
Perfect segue, because we go back to the weird guy. Okay, so this guy who cloned his dog. I get it. You're like, I want my dog.
Yeah,
okay.
But then he gets weird.
He gets really fucking weird. Okay. People who have an ungodly amount of money get really fucking weird, because this dude kept his dead dog's body after they had already taken samples to clone his dog. He could have gotten rid of this body. No, he kept it wrapped up in like a black bag and tape in his fucking freezer with a post-it that said, do not open. And then loaded it into like an insulated bag. It was like, I'm going to go take it somewhere where we can visit and he'll rest in peace.
Practically took a limo.
What the fuck, dude?
But then he starts talking about how, like, I get that you're wanting to replace your dog, but his stance is that he's not replacing his dog. It is his dog. His dog isn't dead. It is alive again.
It's survived death. It's just reincarnation. I'm like, dude, no. This is a separate dog that shares the same genetic DNA as your previous dog, yes, but it is a clone. It is not the same dog.
Well, but if it's in the same environment with the same people doing the same things, it's gonna have the same behavior. That's what the guy said.
That's what the guy said. I tend to think that there could still be little things that pop up.
Of course.
Because who's to say? And the thing is, that dog doesn't have the previous dog's memories. There's no way to remove memories and implant them. So that dog's just like, oh, you're my family. All right, cool. I get this really cool place to live. Yeah. I don't know why you're burying this big black ball in the dirt, but all right, what the fuck ever, dude. You feed me and give me water and treats and whatever. I'll take it. Dog's got no fucking clue. This guy's like, oh, but he knows that he's taking his place. No, he doesn't.
That dog has a bed full of golden pillows.
Oh my god. It's just rich people get really fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's that. I don't know why that was included. Was it included to show us that, hey, he cloned this dog and it was successful? Or was it included to show us like, hey, there's really rich people who will spend tons of money to clone their dog because they can't deal with the separation and the permanency of death. I get it. Losing a dog sucks. But, and here's something, and I know we touched on the Futurama thing, but if you're given the chance to get a new dog and give that new dog a whole great life, maybe there's things you did with the first one that you're like, I wouldn't do that again because it really wasn't good for them. You can do that with a whole new dog. You don't have to spend millions of dollars and send away ear tissue and all these other samples that we send so Shiloh could live again. I mean, it's weird. It's fucking weird.
I know.
Yeah, it's fucking man.
You're really riled up.
Then there was, okay, we didn't talk, the Australian guy that like works with the camels and all that. I guess he's the camel inseminator. I don't know. He cares for him. Towards the end,
that's a word for it.
Yeah, they brought up towards the end that he lost 2 daughters, and well, if somebody asked me that, you know, would you let us clone your daughter so you could have her again? He goes, she was too young to have a personality, so yeah, I would. And I'm like, or you could just talk to your wife about trying again. There's always that option. It's not like your wife was like, you know what? I have shut down the baby factory. I have removed everything. So, no. Or she died or whatever. I don't know. There's weird things like that. I'm like, yeah, they could clone it for millions of dollars, or you could just try to have another kid. I mean, tons of people lose children every day and stuff like that, and it's fucked up. It's sad. I feel for them. I just don't think going, hey, we can clone your kid is absolutely the solution to everyone's thing. It might be more damaging in the end. I don't know. That's where I stand. But this thing this thing got a lot of thoughts going in my head. So
yeah,
good documentary.
I can tell.
I don't want to come off as having like isolated myself or given away my hand. You can kind of tell where I stand on things, but it's ever changing as this technology ever changes. So I always think there's the question of the ethics behind it, or is it really something we need to do in that respect? I just don't know. This documentary brought up a lot of questions. I would say check it out. It's interesting, to say the least.
It's definitely a roller coaster.
Yeah, get your brain going. As you can tell, because I'm ranting about fucking rich people and the weird shit they do.
Yeah.
Anyway. Leiann, do you recommend people check it out? I think you said yeah, but I don't think I think I did, but you didn't.
I don't know. I'm on the fence.
I'd say if you're interested in science stuff and cloning and all that kind of stuff, then check it out. If you're not, you can skip it.
I was hoping it was a guy that, created an animal-human hybrid and made sweet love to it.
That's more along the lines of the movie Splice.
I know.
You were hoping for the real life story that inspired that.
Yes. Yes, I was really excited. I'm like, oh, there's camels.
Dr. Wong cloned a camel-human hybrid and impregnated it.
But then they found the documents that showed that it was his. Yeah, it was not in a clinical setting. Apparently, there were lots of candles and music.
I will say one thing I didn't know that they touched on at the very end. I did not realize China had successfully cloned primates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's hitting close to home. That's basically one step away from human. Yeah, so anyway, if you're into science, you're in that kind of stuff, check it out. If not, I'd say you can skip it. Maybe, check out the latest Amy Schumer stand-up special. You should watch that.
Yeah, sure. It was just something random I found, and I was like, oh.
Hey, I'm glad
Netflix thinks I'll like it.
I'm glad you did it, because initially, and I told Paul this when I was on Invasion, that I had wanted to cover The Burning, just because everyone I know has talked about it. It's one that's likened to Friday the 13th, very similar in a sense. My issue stems from, I found out it was written by the Weinsteins, and I have my issues with those two walking pieces of shit that have done so much with their power and influence in Hollywood to fuck women over, that I kind of don't want to give them any credit, especially now with the whole strike going on. I really don't want them getting any sort of residuals from me watching it. So we're going to push that one out for a while. Because, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you brought this to the table. This is very, very intellectual.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think with that, should we tell them where they can find us?
I wanted to make a clone joke, and there was nothing at all.
I could see the wheels turning, and they just they stuttered. It was like, It was like they just didn't get enough oil. It was like, I got nothing.
You were almost MC Hammer for a second.
Here goes the hammer.
Where can they find us? I don't know where they can find us.
You can head on over to Facebook and join the group, or check out the page, Skewered Universe Podcast. Find us on Instagram, Skewered_Universe_podcast. We are on Threads. Yeah, the nice alternative to X or Twitter X, Twexter, whatever the fuck they're calling it. I don't know. That shitty fucking troll hellscape. We're not there anymore. We're over on Threads. It's a really nice place. Go check us out over there. Skewered Universe Podcast.
Fuck Twexter.
As far as listening to the show, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Podbean is a great place to go find us, because there's lots of stuff there. I didn't know what else to say.
Good job. They have things you can listen to.
That is right. Anyway, yes, Podbean is another one that's actually where we host our podcast, so you can go there directly and get them. You can also get audio-only episodes on YouTube. That is fun to play in the background while you're cooking, changing your kid's diaper, chasing your toddlers around the house, or playing with your dog. Just listening to it in the background. It's a real good time.
Or meditating.
Yeah. We're very good for meditation.
I mean, your rants are very soothing.
That's what I've been told. Wait. Sorry. People said it was good for masturbating, not meditating. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, we're not good for either one. Don't do those things to us. That's weird. Anyway, yeah, YouTube, audio-only episodes. Check those out. You can also head over to skeweredhead.com. We got a blog over there that I type up every once in a while. I do shit like that. You can also get episodes of the show there, and you can find links to all of the social media that we have. With the exception of Threads, there's really not a whole lot there yet, but it's coming soon. Also, head over to our Patreon. Just search for Skewered Universe Podcast. You can support the show, get extra episodes. We're going to be doing audio commentary soon. I know I keep saying soon, but we just have to have the time to be able to do it. I do 2 podcasts now, people. There's a lot of time dedicated to podcasting in general for main shows. I have to be able to breathe once in a while. No, I love doing 2 shows. It's a lot of fun. You can catch me over on Tales from the Podcast every Saturday. We do that right now. We are doing we are doing Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Tales from the Dark Place is what I was about to say. That sounds wrong. But yeah, we're watching Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. We have 1 more episode left. You guys can join us in the Discord. I will put links in the show notes. Join us over there. It's a lot of fun. Also, if you're looking to start your own podcast, we're a Podbean affiliate. You can find the link in the description. You will get a free month of podcast hosting with a paid unlimited plan. Gives us a little something on the back end to help us out. It helps you out. Get your voice out there. We want to hear you. Leiann, do you have anything else to add?
No.
All right, that being said, keep enjoying that universe that's just a bit skewered.